Hello everyone, welcome back to the Classic Car Modeler. My name is Zach, and today we are going to be, I'm going to be discussing a few things with you guys that's a little bit different. Now, obviously, different camera angle, kind of did that on purpose. Doing some new things. However, recently, um, I was really trying to figure out why I was so uninterested in the hobby, and obviously I've had you guys saw it, and I appreciate the people who understood. Like, it takes a lot to really get back into a hobby like this, or not a hobby, but just re-upload things and whatnot. But it wasn't just that. I was really looking at the hobby a lot differently, and the past 2 years really was hard on me. I think. Since and keep in mind this might be a little bit long because there's a lot of things to point out. I don't even have a sticky note, so I might as well take that out so I can write that things down on my mind. But I do want to cover a few things. Let me just write them down. You're going to hear a little bit of silence, but bear with me. Okay, so again, my apologies for the sudden silence there. So the reason one so first off, I want to get one thing out of the way before I even forget about it. um this channel, the Classic Car Modeler. Now, obviously, if some of you have heard the Muscle Car Modeler, it's kind of where I got the name from. I'm going to be changing the name because I have thought of a completely different name that really does sound like what I deal with. I have what's called ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder, which means that my thoughts come. I have a major, obviously, I have a major attention issue. Um, I have the tendency of being very hyper, which you can kind of tell my voice sometimes here and there. You also see me doing this a lot. I deal with a lot of like my when it comes to ADHD, it comes with anxiety, symptoms of depression, you name it, the whole 9 yards. And keep in mind, I'll just tell you guys my age. I'm fairly young when it comes to this hobby. I'm a kid. I'm 24, practically. The fact that I call myself a kid. You see myself fidget with my hands a lot. I have anxiety. I think I just said that, and my interests go back and forth, and you kind of saw that within the past 2 years. 2 years ago, I think it was it 23? I could be wrong. Actually, no, it was in 2022. Um, I moved from my basement to my bedroom when it came to model cars. And when I moved up here, it took me, I don't know why, it took me so long just to get back into, just to finish my Dodge Monica, which I showed you guys on my channel, and my Mercedes Benz. I was just fidgeting with this thing for a second. It's satisfying. I don't know why, but and with that, let me just turn the camera up a little bit just so that I can. There we go. That's perfect. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Now the new. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I've like there was a point in time where the hobby felt meaningless, and I say that not because like, oh, everything around me just felt meaningless. Like, there was no meaning to the hobby. It wasn't just that. There was a lot of factors. I In 2023, I think in a year after I was just getting back into the hobby, just a little bit, and then I became a volunteer firefighter in my town, and so which I should probably turn off my pager. There we go. I don't want to reveal my actual location. It would be annoying. I will say this much, for any of you who are very much curious about where I live. I can't tell you exactly where, but I can tell you the general area is I'm in Connecticut. So that's kind of, for all of you, any of you out there who lives in Connecticut, hi. Um, but I'm fidgeting with this stupid little part to a car. Um, Going from there, where was I going? um, right. Uh, and so during the break, I think being in my mid 20s, I'm dealing with a lot of just like, I don't want to say mental health issues, more of like coming of age, kind of understanding that I want to go, I want to go farther, and I want to do things, and I wanted to do more this year because I didn't do that last year, I I'm still learning things every single day. I'm not I'm no one's ever gonna stop learning, and for me being this young, I'm still learning new things every day. So and I just realized I was painting downstairs. I left the car that I was working on downstairs, but I will get that shortly. I'm not gonna get it right now, but uh, really, does it show it? Yeah, okay. So it is what I'm working on, the Falcon Funny car. It's really just a reintroduction for me. I just need to get back into the hobby, and I not needed to, but more of I just want to have some fun and kind of test my skills, see where I'm at. This is kind of where I'm doing it with because I don't care for funny cars. I just figured why not, so I'm just doing it anyway. But um, recently I looked up this. I was like really trying to understand why I was so out of the hobby, and then I started realizing, wait a second, it I'm gonna make mistakes all the time, and that's something I was always a perfectionist when it came to hobby, and I wanted to be perfect, and I found out soon enough that I was never gonna be perfect, and something started clicking in my mind. I'm like, you know what? I really shouldn't stop. I should stop being so perfect and just have fun. And it still kind of triggered some anxiety and like, what if I don't do this right? What if I don't do that right? And then I stumbled upon a YouTube channel online. Just the way this guy is talking online on this video made me feel like I was a little more understood. Like this guy, his detail work is so good, but yet he mentions like I made a mistake here and there and whatnot. And it made me realize, like, wait a second. For a guy who's that good at the hobby, he still makes mistakes. And then it made me realize, like, wait a second. I make mistakes all the time. And I'm kind of a newbie still. I've been doing this for 6 years. I'm on and off for 6 years. And recently it made me feel, the car I just did made me feel like I was still inexperienced because the paint job got wrong. I had a lot of orange peel on the back side of the car. And that just made me realize, like, you know what? I'm not done learning yet. I want to learn more. I want to get to a point where I almost cannot get not almost can't, but that's impossible for me to not get a paint job wrong. And that's going to take a lot of practice. And I think I'm going to make sure that each one of my builds, even though they may come out imperfect, they're still going to come out the way I want. They're still going to come out like something. It's going to be, they're going to, I'm already losing my words. I'll still have fun with it. And that's kind of the purpose with it. Even if it comes out with an issue, it's still going to be what I'm looking for, hopefully. Not hopefully. I'm focused on that. They're still going to come out decent. And now it brings me to this. I am renaming the channel to something a little different. Because, one, Classic Car Modeler doesn't really tell the story of the type of person I am. So I'm going to be renaming the channel to the Attention Deficit Modeler because it's going to tell the story. It's really going to just show people that even people who struggle with things every day can still have some fun. And I think that really sums up the type of person I am because I was on and off with this hobby. And you know what? I'm really like, I really am gaining some more interest back in this hobby because I would rather really experience just the process of building this car rather than just finish it. Like I've always wanted just to finish the car and just get it done. Let's finish it because heck, I was trying to do that with my Torino and no, it's not ready yet. I'm still working on it. Still a lot of things to do with it. But that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. And recently I had an issue where if I could take the body off, that'd be great. If you see, there's a I had clear come off, and this is the second time this has happened. I was like, what the fudge am I doing wrong? I was really annoyed, and also if you can hear by my voice, I'm not feeling well still. I just caught the common cold recently, and yes, there's an inhaler over there, right here. There's an inhaler, so it's helping me just be able to breathe and not cough every 2 seconds. No, I don't have asthma, just like a cough, bad cough. So let me just drink real quick. I needed that. Anyway, so that brings me to the next thing. Uh, which I already explained why I left. The hobby felt meaningless. It just felt like the best way to put this was rinse and repeat. That's the best way to put this. Is I kept thinking about rinsing and repeating, and what that means is that what in the world is this? I just noticed this now. And just like and that's why I'm renaming the channel that. It's rinse. It's the fact that I just easily got distracted by that. I find that hysterical that I do, and that's why I want to rename it the attention deficit modeler, because I will get distracted by anything like that, which is I find hysterical. But um, the goal, why I left, right, why I left, I almost lost track. Why I left is mostly because it just felt, like I said, rinse and repeat. Like, I build a model, I put it on the shelf, I do it again. I build a model, I put it on the shelf, do it again. And that completely destroyed my interest in the hobby. And I left because of it. I left because I felt like I was doing this all the time. Like, I was like, I wanted just to finish it and then do it again. And it's more than, and I realized finally that it's more than that. And there was a part of me that felt like, dude, it's more than just building. It's enjoying the process. Like, no model will be the same. When you build a model, you put it on the shelf, and when you start a new one, it's completely different than the last one. And it made me realize, like, holy crap, that's actually correct. I don't know why my brain just couldn't wrap around that, but it just couldn't get around the idea of, like, this is just rinse and repeat. I'm gonna grab myself a soda to think about if I'm this thirsty. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of why I left. And then recently, and on the other hand, it just felt like I was making so many mistakes. I was just like, I wasn't that good, and it just, I felt like I didn't have what it took to really build model cars. And I was really self-sabotaging myself, which I was talking to some of my friends, and when I kept talking about, like, oh, I'm not that good, or I'm not, they're like, dude, stop self-sabotaging yourself. Like, I hate when people do that. I'm like, wait, I am? And he was like, yes, you were. So after realized that, I realized, you know what, that I'm going to fix that, and we're going to have some fun with these cars. And that brings me back to what got me back into it. Really just that self-talks, the really just the notion, and the notion from other people that, like, you can do this, you can just have fun, and you're better. And I've shown some of my friends, like, some of my builds, and they thought, like, wow, you actually know what you're doing. I'm like, how? I don't get that great build. And they're like, who cares about the mistakes? You did a really good job on that. I'm like, oh, thanks. So that brings me to here. I'm glad you got how you guys are staying with me. Obviously, we're building a funny car. I'm hoping to record a little differently. I'm gonna test out some things, see where it goes. But that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I'm hoping that you guys will be along for the ride, and we'll see where things go to. I'm really excited to see where the future holds for this channel. Not just that, but just really for what I'm doing here in general. Having fun and enjoying what I'm building instead of just putting it on a shelf and calling it a day, you know. And hopefully that can happen. So, with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys did, please leave a like down below. Please leave a comment and subscribe if you have not, because I'm hoping to really change my perspective within the hobby and just improve my skills overall. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.